Hello everyone, and welcome to the very first video on this channel. My name is Brian, and today I'll be making a video explaining basically how I got started into silver investing and some of my plans for the future. So basically I started watching videos about 2 months ago after watching a presentation by Robert Kiyosaki, who was explaining that silver was a really good way to prevent losing money over time because of inflation. So that got me interested, and I started watching a ton of videos on YouTube and searching online, going on Google and reading articles, things like that. And basically, I found, the idea of investing in precious metals pretty interesting. Um, so my reasons basically, the motivation I have for doing it, first is the edge against inflation. Money has been going down in value over time pretty drastically in the past years because of all of the market crashes and, problems with the economy. And basically precious metals tends to hold their own pretty good in a situation like that. So for me, basically, that's the main interest that I have in it. So instead of having an emergency fund in a bank account, putting it in precious metal, they're pretty easy to sell, so they're pretty liquid. Of course, you don't want to buy and sell right away because you would lose money that way. But if it's money that you're going to put away anyway and that you don't need, I think it's a very safe way to do it. The other aspect that I find interesting is that it's pretty fun to do. There's a collector aspect that can be used by investing in precious metal and without going into numismatic and trying to buy stuff so that they can gain value over time because they're rare, things like that. But just the aspect of buying bullions from different countries, for example, the pieces are beautiful. So there is, for me, a collecting aspect to it that I find pretty interesting. Um, uh, Even if I'm not planning on buying pieces for that specific reason, I really try to stay with the type of silver that's really based on the value of the metal, not the interest that people might have in it. Even with that category, you can pay just a little bit more and buy bullions that are of various types, or rounds of various types, and even bars of various types, and you can make a pretty interesting collection, even staying with that basic metal price in mind. So I've so far purchased quite a few pieces, and I've shown some of them to friends, and everyone finds them pretty nice looking. It's I don't know, it's the designs are very great, and the color of the metal, of course, is great. So that's my second reason, I guess, for investing into precious metal. Um, Other than that, I think there's a nice diversification aspect to it. So people tend to diversify in stocks or bonds, things like that. The thing is even if you diversify your portfolio, if you're into stocks and there's a market crash, not a lot of stocks will be able to gain or keep their value in case of a complete market crash. So metal is completely different. Basically, metal doesn't react that much to whatever happens, in terms of stock prices and things like that. It's more based on a general. I can't pretend to understand exactly what makes the price of silver or gold move, but basically it seems to react basically mostly to the entire economy. So that's a safer place, I guess, to keep money in. And since that is, a very, like, basically it's an edge in the sense that if the market is not doing well, usually precious metal will be doing well. So basically you're keeping your money in a place that is much safer in those situations. And the last thing that I think that not many people touch upon. From all of the videos I've watched, no one ever mentioned that. But for me, it's also a very nice way to kind of have a fix for when you have an urge to spend money. You know, I don't know about you guys, but for me, from time to time, I just want to buy something just for the sake of buying something and having, you know, the fun of spending. So instead of buying stuff that basically will be worthless after some time, or, you know, it's not gonna be an investment, it's just gonna be a pure expense. In a case like this, you get the same feeling of, you know, spending for something fun, but basically you're buying money. So I think it's a super interesting aspect of investing into precious metal, and when you're dealing with the physical metals, not, you know, bonds or stocks related to the silver or gold or whatever, but actually buying the bullions and buying the bars and things like that. It's kind of a rush. I mean, you go online, you look at the, for example, on Kitco, you see everything that's available, and then you get that tingling of purchasing something very fun. I don't know if that will go. It will, if I will keep that over time. But for now, I've been, you know, doing this for the last few months, and every time I do it, I still get the same joy of doing it. And I also have the pleasure of playing with the coins from time to time, and that's fun as well. So basically, those two aspects are related, but it's a little bit different in a sense that no one really talks about the, you know, the spending aspect that you get from it. So what else did I want to talk about? Yeah, so basically I started stacking about 2 months ago. It was in November of 2019. Today we're in mid-January. And during that time, I've made 3 purchases. I don't purchase much at a time. Like, I'm not a huge spender. I don't, you know, put a ton of money into investments. But so far, I've made 3 purchases. I'm now up to 30 ounces of silver. So basically, I'm, you know, trying to, like, I always resist buying more. Like, basically, every time I go online, I would purchase probably like 50 ounces at a time if I didn't hold myself back. But I try to buy a reasonable amount, which for me is about 10 ounces at a time. So right now, it might change, but right now, you know, that amount makes me happy, and I plan on keeping doing that for the next few months at least. So my plans really, in terms of silver, because that's what I'm planning to purchase for the, you know, probably the next year, is both for long term holding and for shorter time holding. So my strategy basically with that is I'm buying bars for, you know, going at the lowest possible rate in terms of premiums. And those I plan to use, like, if there's a spike in the market or something like that, I would probably sell that. So, for example, if in a few years there's a market crash or something and silver spikes up to, I don't know, $40 an ounce or something, I would probably sell all of my bars. So, because they don't have, like, the bars don't have as much as of a collection type aspect to them. I would probably keep one of each type, for example, but I wouldn't like keep all of them. I would probably sell them all and just keep, you know, the other pieces that I have for a longer term and not sell those. So for my, for example, of my bullions, my idea is to purchase pretty much one item of each type of bullion available. So those I don't have any plans at all to sell. I would probably keep them even if there's a huge spike in the price of the silver. I would keep those around. And when there's a dip, I would start purchasing bars again. So that's my current plan. It might change. I don't know. It's it's the way I'm seeing it right now. I don't know if it's a good idea of doing it, but right now I think that's a reasonable way of first having, you know, emergency funds locked into something that doesn't devaluate, and having the ability to make a little bit of money out of it as well. So I don't. Anyway, so that's what I'm planning to do. In the future, like, I'm not sure. I haven't counted, and I haven't like taken a look at everything available in terms of bullions and coins and things like that. Like I want to purchase one of each, as long as they're not too far off the spot price. So some of the bullions I've been looking at were pretty expensive, like looking at about $10 over spot. I think that's a little bit crazy. It's like there's no way you can recoup that even if the market goes up a lot. You're looking at 50% premium, and when you sell, you lose a little bit as well. So probably like loss of 60%, something like that, which is not something I'm prepared to lose. But when the price of the bullion is say a dollar or two above the price of a bar, so you're probably looking at maybe 10, maybe for 15% extra in terms of purchasing price. Since I'm not planning on selling them, I don't really mind it, just so that I can have a collection. So it's that's the way I'm seeing it. I would love to read what you guys think about it in the comments. Maybe I'm way off. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I don't know. But so far, that's the way I'm planning on doing it. So for future purchases, what I will probably do is purchase half and half, so half in bars and half in bullions until I have all of the bullions, and afterwards I'll simply purchase bars. And my current idea is to purchase silver until I have about the equivalent of 1 ounce of gold in terms of value. And when that happens, I will probably try to purchase gold. Gold is very expensive. It's a huge investment. The nice thing about gold, though, is that if you go with fractional gold, the premium is not that much higher than silver. So if you purchase, say, a quarter of an ounce of gold, you're looking pretty much at the same premium as if you would be purchasing, say, don't quote me on the exact figures, but about the same premium as a 10-ounce silver bar. And they're about the same price, probably a little bit more expensive, but roughly in the same areas. So probably like I don't know if I'm in Canada, so right now gold in Canada is just a little bit over $2,000 an ounce. So you're looking at maybe like $550 for a quarter ounce, or you can also go with a tenth of an ounce. I don't know if the premiums would be worst, but for what I was looking at in terms of premiums for quarter ounces and half ounces, they weren't bad. So I think that would be a good way to start. So basically, instead of purchasing, say, 10 ounces of silver, I would purchase 1/4 ounce. It would probably be like the equivalent in terms of value of 20 ounces of silver. So that would be a way to do it. And I haven't determined of a budget right now. Like I purchase whenever I want to. So in the future, I will probably put down a specific budget in terms of either a percentage of my income, or I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do it, but in order to force myself to purchase silver, that would be probably the easiest way. And also, like, it would put in place a system which is much easier to follow than just buying whenever you want. Right now I don't know what you guys are doing. I would love to read about that as well. So if you have like a plan for investing, how do you go about it? Like, do you have like a specific percentage of the amount of money you put aside, or how do you do it? So that's another aspect I haven't really took a long time to think about, but roughly that's what I'm planning to do so far. So basically that's the first video. So I've shown in this video a few of the pieces I've purchased. Most of them, my other bars are the same. So like for the acai bars, I purchased a bunch of 1 ounces ones, and the same for the national ones. I purchased a bunch of those as well. So basically, half of my stack is about in silver bars of 1 ounces, and the rest is what you've seen. In the future, I will probably make more videos about purchases I'm making. So far, I think that the bullions are pretty amazing. Like the Royal Canadian Mint has a large variety of bullions that they produce, and coins of various types, so rounds as well. So I think those will be the priority for me to purchase, and afterwards, well, there's everything else. The pertinents also have beautiful products. So there's so much variety out there. That's the fun aspect of it. So I'm really looking forward to purchase more. My only issue right now is that Kitco, which is the dealer that we have here in the city, they don't carry everything, and I would say probably half of them are not available from them. So I've looked at other online dealers. They seem to be more expensive, but they have things that are not available at Kitco, so I'd probably go to them in order to purchase those various things. So if you have suggestions on where to buy in Canada, feel free to write it. I've looked around town for dealers like they have in the US, like coin shops, things like that, and all of those that we have here in the city, they only do numismatics, so they don't do like bullions and things like that. So it's not an aspect that I'm really interested in, so I can't really do business with those guys. I would like to thank you for watching this video. I hope it was interesting to you. If you like the content, please subscribe. I'm planning to make videos every time basically I make a purchase, so there will be more videos coming. And if you have suggestions on things I should talk about, or questions you have, or anything like that, please write down in the comments so that I can respond in video form, or even directly in the comments. And if you want to talk about what you're stacking yourself, that's another thing that might be interesting, might be bringing some points I could cover on future videos. So thank you for watching. Okay, goodbye.